Hi, so today I want to talk about enlightenment and maybe an alternative to the old concept of enlightenment. So we have this concept of enlightenment that is like you go and become very peaceful and sit up in the mountains by yourself and do nothing because you're very, very happy, and life doesn't affect you. There's none of the real issues of pleasure and pain involve you, and so you're able to just remain at peace all the time. So this is quite good in terms of its effect on a person's enjoyment of life. But I think that we need more from spirituality these days. We don't just need people to be able to be spiritual for their own joy. We need people to be able to be spiritual so that they can make a difference in the world. The world has a whole lot of things going on in it. Issues, social issues, environmental issues, and what have you. And these issues cannot be resolved without spirituality. And if our spirituality leads us to being completely uninvolved in the world, then, well, we're in trouble. So the world needs spiritualists who become active through their spirituality and do something about the issues in the world, not spiritualists who just sit on the mountain and meditate. So there's a concept of Sadvipra, which is somebody who has taken their spirituality to a height that allows them to become fully capable as an enlightened leader rather than an enlightened hermit. So the Sadvipra has the qualities of an intellectual, of somebody who has wisdom and thought and can think deeply and understand things clearly, but they also have the opposite qualities of the worker who is willing to work hard and do whatever needs to be done in order to achieve. And then on the other sides there's also the kind of courage of the warrior, the courage to stand up for what's right and to do what needs to be done, the moral courage to be able to say, this is what I believe in and this is what I'm going to stand for, and it doesn't matter what other people think. And then the fourth quality that's required is practicality, the practical wisdom to be able to run projects, run businesses, make things happen. So these qualities, you'll see them, each of those qualities in individuals quite commonly, but it's quite rare to see them all in one person. So what does it take to gather these qualities of courage and wisdom and hard work and practicality into one person? So in your early days of spiritual growth, you work on your spirituality, and it's a practical thing. And then later on you become more intellectual about it, you start to think about it. And as you grow, then you do develop in other ways. So there's, beyond the intellectual, rational side of the mind, there's the creative, inspired mind that leads to a lot of understanding of others, and hence a lot of sense of what's right and what's wrong. And so people become much more courageous and strong in standing up for their beliefs. And then, somewhere in the middle there's also the practicality of running projects and the hard work. I didn't separate them, but you can see that all of those things happen in your spiritual growth. But when we get to a stage where we've become kind of connected to loving all beings, we're very peaceful, and we are not so affected by the pains of the world. If we take the further step of not just loving all beings, but allowing us to become one with all, to become connected with all beings, then we start to feel the joy of all, but also the pain and issues that come from all of the different areas of life that we are connected to. And so as we start to see these as being part of ourselves, and we are fully connected to them and not separating ourselves as something distinct from them, then all of those issues that we see in the world, all of those pains, all of those problems that others are having, become our problem, something that we want to do something about if we're going to do something for ourselves, then we must also do something for others. And there's a joy in that, but there's also a need to act. And so this is the kind of realization of the Sadvipra. So this connectedness creates a kind of wisdom. It creates this sense of understanding what's really going on and what can work and what can't work. It also creates the energy to work. So there's this inspiration, this joy of being part of things and being part of the energy of the world. And so we work hard because we love to put our energy back into the world. And what is there worth doing but doing something for the world around us? And then we also, as we talked about, have that connectedness that gives us a sense of others and the sense of what's right for others, what's the pain in others and the pain in ourselves. Even when we are fully connected, we still have pains within ourselves. So we've got this connection to the issues, and so we can really have a sense of what's right and the importance of doing things that are right for others and for ourselves and for all. And so this is where we start to stand up and become really courageous about doing the right thing, because it's really important to us. And also because of this connectedness, we become very practical, very effective in terms of making things happen, because we can feel the right things to do at the right time. We can feel what works and what doesn't work. There's a kind of sense of the wisdom is not simply in theory, it's a wisdom in action. It drives our movement in a way that creates things in the world. So this is the concept of the Sadvipra, a kind of enlightenment that drives us into action rather than into stillness. So what kind of enlightenment are you looking for? If you're looking for enlightenment at all, of course, but I'm assuming that most of my listeners are. So if you're looking for enlightenment, are you looking for the peace to be simply happy for yourself? Or are you looking for the peace and power and action to be able to make a difference?